We're going live.
Perfect.
Good.
We live?
Yep.
Perfect. I think this is going to be a really great topic, not just for our Learn to Code, but for your YouTube channel too, to talk about how to use AI in coding.
And I'm in the living room because I'm actually home alone. And so there might be packages. So I'm normally in my room, but today I'm in the living room. So
Well, there you go.
um not
Perfect.
really gonna matter, but if there's a lot of sound because we have a computer over there, that's why. Um
You
kind of
know,
have to do things a little bit differently since I'm home alone.
surprisingly, I've people have had dogs bark and I've never heard it in the background. So I think it's kind of surprising to me sometimes what Zoom doesn't get.
Okay.
But welcome
But
everyone.
let me see if anybody's in the waiting room.
Excuse me. Oh my God, that came out of nowhere. So
Host
sorry.
tools.
For those who might be watching on YouTube later, we are going to cover AI today and how to code with AI.
Yep.
Pardon me, I had to mute
So
myself and sneeze again.
um nobody else is coming yet. So we're gonna wait a minute. I think they
What?
usually come around 10.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it a couple minutes early? I'm going to mute myself and step away for 1 second. I've
Okay.
just been sneezing my head off. 1 second and I will be right back. All right, I have returned. Allergies got the best of me.
It's all right. Oh,
Oh my
okay.
gosh. Of course that happens, right? Like, you're fine, you go live on a Zoom, you sneeze immediately.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. But we have a couple people coming in now.
Just a whole bunch of otter AIs.
I'm not sure what all that's about anyway. We could probably
Oh,
talk about
somebody's
that.
hand raised. Who has their hand raised? And if you have your hand raised, you guys can unmute at least before we actually start. So, okay. And we are live.
Yes. Oh yay, Mariana's here. Hi. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We'll give people a few minutes, like a moment to trickle in. and then we'll get started. This is going to be a fun topic today. We're going to talk about learning how to use AI to
It's
code.
actually gonna be very discussion based, actually. It's gonna be
What
it's
is
gonna be
everybody?
very shoot. Let me fix that. Hold on.
Just waiting, and hopefully the rest of our crew will come in soon. I think we got a few people that are maybe starting to come in.
Yep. Again, we'll start probably like 10:05, 10:10.
Yeah. We're just going to give everyone time to get in here. This is going to be a fun topic today. So, it's going
And
to
I'm
be.
gonna be putting code on GitHub. Actually, I'm gonna do it. Let's see. That's a topic we'll talk about at some point, GitHub, because that's really important. But that'll be a topic when Michael's around, because
Yeah, we've touched on it before. So, I think we've
but we
introduced.
won't talk about that now.
Yeah, we won't talk about it in depth now, but if you've been here long enough, we've introduced it at times. It's been
But
brought
as you
up,
guys
so.
get more advanced, and then once you guys get more advanced, we're gonna actually do group projects together, because that'd be really cool. Like, so you guys can practice your skills.
Oh, that'd be so cool. That'd be so cool.
Um, and you guys can use AI. I use AI a lot.
I use AI every day. Like, every day. And you know, people are afraid of AI taking over, like, people's jobs and stuff, but I'm like, no, that's not gonna happen. Like, because ultimately you still need humans, right? But I
Oh,
feel
we're gonna
like
talk about that.
the people that are gonna become the best at their jobs are gonna be the people that know how to leverage AI. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, I'm not really as afraid of AI taking over because I think on a social level, there's some amount of human interaction that we all seek and will want. The AI can't.
Hey, Laurel, do you mind pushing this out?
Oh yeah. Let me work on doing that.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. I just wanted to get
No, you're
this
good.
at least somewhat
Anyway,
going.
we'll talk about this in a couple of minutes. I'm
Yeah.
gonna mute myself and push this out and see if we can get some more people to come. I'm not sure
And
why we
if
have a
you,
small group today.
oh, people are probably not, but we'll get more people.
Perfect.
Um,
I'm gonna mute myself and then I'm gonna work on getting this posted. Hold on.
so if you guys are here, let's see. We're going to be talking about how to use AI to code. So that is what our topic is going to be for today. Does anybody have any questions before we get started on our topic about the free code camp progress? Because I want to address at least some of those first. Not all of them, but I just want to make sure there's no like burning urgent questions first. So if you guys have questions, you guys can unmute and let me know what you guys are thinking. And if you guys are having trouble unmuting, you guys have to press F6 to understand that we are live streaming. So that is something that may be in your way. But yeah, let me know. And if you guys need help like getting unmuted, I can unmute you, but just let me know what y'all's thoughts are because I want to make sure nobody has any burning questions. Today's topic is going to be very discussion based. So yeah, I'm excited about it. We're going to talk about AI. Okay, let's see. I don't seem to have any questions. Okay, so we're gonna get started in just a minute or two. Make sure any last minute people are not left out.
Taylor, shoot me a link to your YouTube also so I can put it in the post.
Oh, here's Jackie. Okay, so we're starting to get more people.
Yeah, we are.
You want the my link YouTube? I'll put it in our group.
Okay. Hold on, I gotta get
Is that
my.
what you want me to do? Where do you want me to put it?
I don't care. Just send me a text message with it so I can grab it off my Mac and throw it in the post.
That's fine. I'll put it in the group.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Sorry, I just am trying to. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get this up. Maybe I'm not the best at collecting the data for a post, but I'm doing my best.
Fine.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna
So what we're
actually.
gonna do? Yeah.
I'm gonna steer people to your YouTube.
Okay.
All right.
And
Thank
I
you.
will be checking chat very frequently.
Perfect.
So this is a very discussion oriented topic. This is not going to be one of those that is just me talking all hour. Um, we're going to be having a discussion. I'm going to demonstrate some things, but it's not going to be boring. So, all right. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to use AI effectively for coding. And I'm going to share a tool that I use every day now to code, and that's called GitHub Copilot. So we're going to actually do a full-on demonstration about that. And they do have a free plan, so don't worry about having to pay. If you're just getting started, they have a free plan. And the thing is, you can use ChatGPT or other things, but I'm going to show you some reasons that maybe this might be more efficient. Okay. So that's kind of the thing we're going to be talking about today. And so that is that. So let me. Okay. So does anybody have any questions before we get started with the topic? Because I want to make sure we are all set to go.
Hey Taylor.
Yes.
Okay. Um, I was trying to use, and I still am trying to use GitHub just to store my code. Is there, and you really have to pardon me, I need like baby food steps. Is
Okay.
Where should I be looking for information on how to use GitHub?
Oh, so we actually have a full podcast episode. So Michael and I did one at the beginning of last year. Let me figure out where it is. Let me send it to you. Michael and I are going to be covering that in a future episode of this, not episode, whatever, Tuesday. I don't know. I'm so used to being on YouTube. And because I'm by myself today, most likely, I don't know that Michael's going to be coming in because he's actually at his mother's. We're not going to
Mhm.
cover GitHub because honestly, I'm not very good at it. I'm pretty okay, but I don't want to, it's a very big topic and I don't want to do it poorly. So I'm going to send you a podcast episode that we did, and it kind of goes through the whole like infrastructure of how it works. The
Okay.
GitHub Copilot is actually part of GitHub, but it's their AI portion.
Yeah, because when I was in there playing with looking at GitHub, it kept on asking me things about Copilot. And I was kind of like, okay, I'm not quite sure. I know what Copilot is, but I don't know if I want to mix that into GitHub since I'm just learning about coding. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I didn't want to get too mixed up in it.
Let me find it real quick. Um, Let me find it. Hold on. I think I know where it is. Okay. Um, Oops. No, that's not right. Just give me a few minutes to look that up and then
No, that's absolutely fine. I completely understand.
oh I almost have it. I just have to um oh, you know what? Duh, it's on my YouTube channel. It's on my future channels. Wow. Okay. That is that's
What happened? I had to walk away for 2 seconds. You good?
there we go. So check out those online.
Sorry, Taylor. I had to walk away. All I came back, I heard you say something. And you're like, "That's not good." I don't know what you said exactly,
Oh,
but I didn't know.
here we go.
Oh my gosh.
So we actually have a Techopolis YouTube channel that's just a YouTube channel for the company, well, and other things. So that is our GitHub episode or Git episode. Okay, so now that I got that over, so yeah, that is
Perfect.
that. And so that will help you at least get a somewhat introduction to Git and GitHub. Michael and I will probably do a deep dive on that at some point when he's back, you know, in Austin. And yeah,
Thank you.
GitHub Copilot is part of what we're going to talk about today, but we're really going to talk about how to use AI to code. Um, and yeah, GitHub Copilot is really awesome. So I'll quickly get into what GitHub Copilot is. So GitHub Copilot is GitHub's AI um, assistant, and you can use this to help you code. And they have what's called an agent mode now, which will do a lot of things for you, but I won't get into that right now. But basically, is it good to use? Yes. Even if you're learning, because it can teach you how to code. So that's one of the things too, is it can, be very instructional. So the cost is there's a free plan that's pretty generous. And then the pro plan is only $10 a month. So it's less than like a chat GPT or something. So they've got a lot of different features, and I'm gonna go do a deep dive through it, and then we're also gonna talk about other coding editors with AI that really are not the most accessible. We're not gonna really deep dive into those per se, but I'm also gonna get your input about how do you guys code with AI because I want to show you guys how to do it, efficiently, right? So that's kind of the thing we're gonna be talking about today, and we're gonna be kind of deep diving into AI, and then if we have time, we'll do a quick help session. Does that sound good to everybody?
Sounds good to me.
That sounds great.
Mhm.
Okay, so let me.
I pushed it out, Taylor. So I pushed it out to literally about half a dozen groups on Facebook. So hopefully some people will come over onto your YouTube side.
Awesome.
I just wanted you to
Okay.
know that
Oh,
so that
you
you
know
can
what? We
monitor my
we
channel.
real quick. Francis Cole, welcome to the stream. Thank you for finding my channel. I really appreciate it. This is a
Absolutely.
special Learn to Code segment we do every week with the Laura Wheeler Foundation. So we do these every Tuesday at 10 Central unless otherwise specified.
Absolutely.
So thank you.
There may be a random time someday if we're all traveling that, we have to change that, but it's every Wednesday. I'm sorry, Tuesday. Oh my
That
gosh.
one.
I know. I can't believe I did that. It's every Tuesday at 10 o'clock Central Time, United States. And for those who are watching or who don't know, um, I'm Laurel from the Laurel Wheeler Foundation. If you want to find us on social media or look up our foundation, it's spelled Laurel. Last name is Wheeler, Wheeler Foundation. No, everybody thinks it's Laura or Lauren or something like that. Nope. My name is Laurel or Laurel or Laurel. You can pronounce it either of the three ways you want, and it's correct. But it's Laurel. Anyway, and then we're obviously Taylor is our fearless leader. She's from Techopolis. And Techopolis has a bunch of awesome courses where you can learn more about coding. And the base tool that all of our participants are doing is FreeCodeCamp. That's free. It's at freecodecamp.org. And you can learn screen reader friendly how to code from there. But every Tuesday we're deep diving. And today we're talking, as Taylor mentioned, about AI and coding. So come along for the ride. And if you're watching this later, because I pushed this out to so many people, if you are watching this later, then comment on the YouTube video. Let us know what you think, what your thoughts are, and bookmark Taylor's YouTube channel so that you can get her notifications and know whenever she goes live, because she talks about a lot of really interesting things all the time. She's doing lots of fun, interesting things that we can all learn from, but also more specifically so that you won't miss another Learn to Code Tuesday.
Yes, all the Learn to Code Tuesdays are streamed on my channel. And we also have, Laurel's channel. I put everything, well, in one of the descriptions. I'm going to have to update this one because I had to, do
It's
things
all
differently
good.
today.
It's all good.
But
And just so that you know, on the YouTube side, we've got several people that are on Zoom here with us. So if you're interested in actually registering for the Zoom, let us know. But either platform works just fine. We'll chat with you if you chat, and
yep,
we gotcha.
I'm watching it.
All
So.
right, take it away, Taylor.
Okay, so the first question I have for everybody is who uses AI to code?
Heck yeah, let's go.
Awesome. Anybody else?
Me.
All
Me.
right.
Melissa, sorry.
Okay. Who doesn't use AI to code currently? Anybody?
Me.
Okay. Who is that? Didn't quite catch the voice.
No freedom.
Okay. And why don't you use AI to code? Do you just not know how? Do you not know if it's like, can you give me a reason?
I don't know if I'm there yet. I'm like the learning process.
You
Oh,
don't
dude,
know
we're
if
gonna
you're
help you.
there.
We're gonna
We're
help
gonna
you.
help you with that.
Right.
Okay.
We're gonna make this a
So,
lot easier for you with AI too. Like, you're gonna love it.
yes.
You're gonna love
And
it.
so I'll just tell you a quick story. So this weekend, because Michael's been out, when Michael's out, I always try to get into some kind of trouble, aka messing with AI. And so I've been trying to learn more about AI. So basically, I had AI explain a whole bunch of advanced like AI concepts to me this weekend, and I used the advanced voice mode in ChatGPT. And I ran out of my daily limit of AI advanced voice mode. I threw it on X. I'm like, this is the first time this has happened to me. But yeah, it was really interesting. And I had a voice conversation. It would actually quiz me on what it just taught me. So it was really, really cool.
That's so cool. I'm gonna have to go play with that. I've played obviously lots with AI in voice mode, but I didn't realize it could also quiz you. Oh my god.
I will, if I have time, I'll connect. Oh, you know what? That's convenient. I have a cable over here. So I can actually connect my phone to Zoom. So if I have time, I'll actually show you how I did that
Oh my gosh.
later. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna
That would
actually
be
do that
cool.
now. That way I can get that set up. Because I think people are more interested in that first. Let me do that because that's easier. And a lot of people can take advantage of that. So let's see,
Yeah,
let me figure out how to do
this is gonna be fun. I mean, I've used AI voice conversation for a lot of things, but I, guys, this is one of the things I love. It's like as soon as Taylor said I used AI, the voice conversation to quiz myself on it was able to quiz me on what I just learned. Like, I haven't even thought about using AI to quiz me on something, but yet it's so obvious. And I love it. It's like, this is one of the things I love about learning in a community together because someone will say something, and even I like to think I'm pretty in the know and like learning stuff and that I'm pretty knowledgeable. Like, even somebody will say something, and even I am like, wait a second, how come I didn't think of that? That's one of the great things about community learning, isn't it?
Okay, hold on. Let me quickly. I'm getting set up a minute. Okay. Screen mirroring. Okay. So let's see, what do I gotta do? Okay, I'm quickly getting this set up, which I almost have it set up. Screen mirroring. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's see, I have it set up and it's working on establishing a connection. Oops. I think I did something I shouldn't have. Okay, this may not work, but I'll try it one more time. If it doesn't, that's okay. I actually have a video where I demonstrated this, so you know what, I will try this later at the end. I think I'm having not Wi-Fi issues, but AirPlay issues. So, but I do have a video I'm gonna throw in chat where I actually did this.
That's
I showed 3
awesome.
ways on how to use the advanced voice mode.
It's fun too to play with the advanced voice mode on the different AIs. I enjoy it.
And actually, I was featured on Perkins School for the Blind about how I used it. Um, I was doing this Washington Council of the Blind presentation, and
That's so cool. That's incredible.
top 3 uses for ChatGPT Advanced Voice Mode.
That's awesome. I love that.
Oh, that's not what I wanted. Hold on. Okay. I'm gonna do, and um, I'm going to, once, maybe it'll work at the end, I'll do a demonstration, but yeah, the video will definitely give you a good way to try it out. Um, wow, it has 514 views. Okay. So here you go. There's the video. All right. So now, sorry that did not work as I expected, but that's fine. We will get started with the other things. So let's address one of the questions. So, let's say you're like, I don't, I'm not even that far enough where I can use AI. Yes, you are. So let's say that you're struggling with something. And let's say that you're struggling with something like, I don't know, I can't figure out how to do the HTML doc type. Well, you can have AI explain it to you in many different ways. Okay. And so AI is very helpful in that way because it can help you do many different things, right? It can, you know, between coding help and concept help, it can do a lot of things. And so there's many different AI tools and they all can be used for different things. Okay. So oops. Hold on, let me get out of here. I accidentally hit hold on. I accidentally hit voice mode. Hold on. I was trying to do too many different things at the same time, which is normal for me, by the way, y'all. If you don't know me at all. And I accidentally hit advanced voice mode because you can use it in the ChatGPT app on your Windows computer. So I'm going to share the screen again. I can show you this time. And I want to show you this because I want to address the comments that I just got from you guys. So let's hold on. And it also has knowledge of the FreeCodeCamp challenges. So it actually has knowledge of those. And so you can ask a question about like a specific challenge. So let me hold on. This is being stupid. I'm trying to get back to the regular screen sharing.
I will say that's one of my favorite things about AI. So when I started with FreeCodeCamp, like a couple years ago, there wasn't AI. So like I literally had to just Google stuff to try to figure out if I was stuck. And I swear now, if I get stuck somewhere, I just ask AI, give it the specific challenge, and I'm like, okay, show me the answer. But because I want to learn, I don't want to just cheat. I say, show me the full answer, but then also explain to me how it's different than what answer I have, you know? So I can learn.
Okay. Can you guys hear my sound?
I believe so. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I could hear
Let
it.
me slow it down. It's pretty fast. I was like, I realized it was not.
And by the way, I heard this question a couple times over the week, so I'm just going to answer it. A lot of people are asking how Taylor has that voice. You're using are you using a PC or an iDevice or Apple device?
Well, I'm using a PC.
Okay, well, people are asking how you can get the Read Eloquence voice on an iPhone or on a Mac. Guys, their Eloquence is now available on Apple devices. It's under voice over voices. Like go to the voices, it's there. You can get it. I just wanted to point it out because I've been asked a couple of times.
Oh, okay. So let me.
Sorry, I didn't want to go off on a giant rabbit trail, but people have asked, so I thought I'd answer. You know.
Oops. I'm all over the place this morning. I woke up like 10 minutes before I needed to start working. I'm like, oh crap. So I'm like running around this morning. Okay, let me
That was
change
me last
this.
week. It's okay.
26. 24.
I always have to change it to 25 for when I'm doing demos because one of the platforms that I use makes me do that. So I'm
25.
just gonna do that.
Zoom social dash learn to code.
Easy.
Screen sharing meeting controls row 1 column 2 of C colon backslash chat GPT row 2 column 1 full chat clickable end voice mode button. Button turn on microphone. Unavailable. Clickable button.
I think I screwed this
Zoom
up.
screen sharing C colon back I sample dash visual let chat GPT access.
Oh yeah, here
let
we
chat
go.
no button. Yes button. Screen text. Let chat GPT access your camera. Yes button.
Sure.
Screen sharing meeting controls window unknown unavailable. Windows security dialog. Windows security. Do you want to allow public and private net allow button?
Yes.
Space. Show more. Screen sharing meeting controls window.
Okay.
Video
Sure.
settings.
What can I help you with today?
So I'm doing a demo, and I am doing a demo for blind people who are learning to code with FreeCodeCamp. So I was wondering how you could help these people to learn to code easier and more effectively, and also being accessible.
Absolutely. Here are some tips to make coding more accessible and effective for blind learners. 1. Screen reader compatibility. Ensure that all coding platforms and tools are fully
Hey, wait.
compatible with.
This is not what I wanted. Can you now explain the doc type in HTML as if I'm a beginner learning to code and maybe that I'm blind and I use assistive technology?
Of course. Let's break it down. In HTML, the doc type declaration is a simple instruction that tells the web browser what version of HTML the page is written in. This helps the browser understand how to properly display the content. For example, doctype HTML tells the browser that the document is written in HTML5, which is the latest standard. If you're using a screen reader, knowing about doctype is important because it ensures that the web page is interpreted correctly by the browser and assistive technology. So, the doctype is like a guide that makes sure everything on the web page works smoothly and is accessible.
Okay, but I want to make sure that I understand this. So can you quiz me?
Absolutely. Let's do a quick quiz. First question. What is the purpose of the doctype declaration in an HTML document?
It is like a guide, so it basically gives the document structure.
Exactly. It tells the browser what version of HTML to expect so it can properly interpret and display the content.
Okay, the last thing I want to ask you is, can you explain some like CSS to a blind person who maybe have never seen colors before?
Num lock on. Num lock on.
Sure. CSS, or Cascading Style Sheets, is a language used to describe how HTML elements should be presented on a screen or other media. Even if someone can't see colors or visual layouts, CSS still plays an important role in structuring the user experience. For example, CSS can control the layout of a web page, like whether content is arranged in columns or rows. It can also manage spacing, font sizes, and how elements are positioned, which can be crucial for screen reader users to navigate the page effectively. Additionally, CSS can define how elements appear when they are focused or interacted with. For instance, it can highlight a button when it receives keyboard focus, making it easier to navigate for someone using a screen reader or keyboard shortcuts. So, CSS isn't just about aesthetics. It's also about creating a well-structured, accessible experience for everyone.
From Ornisha's note taker left parent.
Okay, so you just heard, let me close out this. Let's see,
User
let me
request
figure out.
clarification row 1 column.
Okay. Like I'm gonna close it or else it'll keep
Screen
talking,
sharing
talking,
meeting
talking.
controls window.
Okay, hold on. Wow, okay. That was kind of interesting. So you guys just heard how advanced voice mode, right, was explaining complex concepts. Did you guys hear any of that, or was I muted the whole time? Uh-oh. Might
I
have been
heard
muted
it.
the whole time.
No, we heard
Good.
you. We heard it. Mhm.
Okay. So what did you guys think about that? Like, is that definitely a good coding like tool for you guys to use, like to explain things? Because I've used it to learn many things.
Yes.
Do you guys currently use this?
I've yeah, I've actually used it. Um, the first week that I was here, Laurel, this is Melissa. Um, Laurel said, if you get stuck on a step, put it in Chat GPT and ask it to explain how to do it, so that you know what you're doing. And she's right that it's very intuitive. It knows all of the code camp challenges. So it has been helpful to me on a couple of occasions. But I
It's
don't
very helpful.
necessarily use the voice. I just type it in or copy paste, but I have used voice for other things. But uh, being a visual learner in terms of Braille, it's kind of more sensible for me to see it, unquote quote.
Yeah, and the voice could give you kind of like a lecture on that topic, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
this weekend, I was trying to learn a few things for my, machine learning stuff. And I, literally explained it. And so now I can actually remember it and I can be able to, retain it because AI explained it. So it's very interesting. And I'm hoping that you guys, are able to understand, kind of how that can help. Because now you're like, oh, I never thought about the doc type like that, but now it just makes more sense as an
Mm-hmm.
example.
Yeah. So how do you get the can you still get the eloquence voice on the NVDA, or is it no
Yes.
longer available? Do you have to go to the NVDA store, or
So I'm not sure. So the way I got it, let me think, because I think it's still available on Code Factory. But there's different like add-ons. I don't know that I want to talk about this on stream. Let's
okay,
end
that's
the
fine.
stream and I'll talk about this. Okay.
Okay, no problem.
Because it's kind of interesting the way to get it, and I don't want to talk about that in stream.
Gotcha.
So, yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
didn't mean to
Nobody in
get you on a detour there. Sorry.
no problem. I just didn't want to talk about it because it's kind of a
Sure.
little wonky the way you have to do it right now.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Hey,
okay.
with AI and voice chat, I will say, I know that we have a lot of people in our community who are multilingual, and I'm going to
Yes.
test out how to learn to code, maybe in some of the languages I speak,
Hmm.
and I would be really curious if you guys will. I I'm not saying do like that you have to do this, but I want to know if you do. If those of you who speak other languages test this out in your native language to see how well it can teach you to code in said language, like, in whatever your native language is, Spanish, or I know there's Bulgarian out there, I know there's Hindi out there. For me, I English is my native, but I'm fluent in a couple others, and I speak pretty high level at some others like Finnish and Russian and stuff. So I'm very curious if those of us who know other languages will test this out a little bit with the voice chat or even with the text chats to see how AI responds to like both helping with the free code camp challenges and with some of the learn to coding questions. I'd love to hear feedback on how it does, which AI tools work well in different languages. I would love to know that.
I would love to know that.
So I'll test them out in some of the ones I speak, but if you guys who speak things other than English will test it, like please do, like I think it would add a lot to the community and to the knowledge that the blind community has, because I know that there are a lot of blind people who've even asked me like, hey, what coding resources exist in fill in the blank language? And
Hmm.
so I would love to be able to comment or have like feedback, whether it be chat form or whether it be in voice form, if we all discuss this again in part next week, like if we touch on it next week. I would
Hmm.
love to have some people give their input on how it did in your target language or in your native language, in both in the voice chat and also in text chatting. So if some of you guys would help me test that out, if we could touch on it, or if you would comment on the YouTube video or come prepared to talk about it a little next week, I would love that.
Yeah, I would love that too. I don't that wouldn't work very well for me because I only speak English.
No, sure, but like if I just am saying, like, for what it's worth, I'm
Oh
throwing it
yeah.
out there. If we could ever, if some of you guys, and I'll do it too, if some of us could come prepared to talk about, or if you're watching this later on YouTube, if you'll comment so that we can bring your comments to the session next time and talk about like how it does. I think that would be really valuable input to the
Oh,
community
I'd love
in
to
general.
know.
So please do that. I'll do it. I'll commit to doing it in a couple different languages. And if you guys are willing to do it, comment on this video, or let us know what languages you're doing it in, and we'll talk about it, please, because I think that'd be great.
Sounds great. Yeah, this is awesome. I like I said, I use this every day, and I kind of forgot it was available on the Windows and Mac apps, but it is. So, okay.
Anyway, I didn't want to totally
Yeah.
derail you, but I definitely know that that's a hot topic of interest. So
Oh, I'm sure it is.
I thought I'd mention it. It was a great time to mention it while we had just a few minutes ago gotten done talking about the voice chatting and all of that.
Okay. So let's say that we're moving on, and let's say, you may know the concept, and let's say that you're developing things, right, every day. And let's say that you want to be able to get faster at developing, because I do code sometimes 6 to 8 to however many hours a day, right? And I want to get a little faster at it just because I've got a lot to write. And, as a professional coder, I already know a lot of the basics. But the thing is, I need to be able to write code so that I can get done for my employer. A lot of professional coders use tools. They use GitHub Copilot or others. Now, even if you're not a professional, I recommend using these because at companies these days, what they are starting to notice is that company or people who know AI are actually going to be more in demand than people who don't know AI. And, especially the company that I work, if you can't use AI, that's not very valuable, right? Because everything that we do must have AI inside of it. That was actually a new thing that, we had at our meeting the other day. So, with that being said, coding with AI is definitely fun. It's definitely, you learn a lot too, but then you also can see what it does, right? So you also can kind of understand how it all works, and you can be able to look at the code that it generates. So GitHub Copilot is what I've been talking about, and it is separate from GitHub, but it's still in the same product, but it's like their AI division of GitHub, right? So it's basically a Copilot that can VS Code primarily, and it will help you do a lot of coding and things for you. But it doesn't do it for you. You can kind of, you dictate, you prompt about how it wants to be done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to demonstrate how to use GitHub Copilot. Now, I will say I'm already signed in, so you'll have to sign in with a GitHub account. If you don't have one, you can make up one. It's, it's all free, so you can make a GitHub account and try this. There's a free plan, and I think it's like, I don't exactly know how much, how many things you get per month, but I have the $10 one. Actually, yeah, I think I paid for it by the year, which is $100. But you don't have to pay, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. And the thing is that I will show you, the modes and things because it had a huge update where it's a lot more valuable now. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to show you. I have a sample already open in VS Code because I didn't want to waste time. And so I'm going to show you guys how to use this. Oh, what did I do?
You have started screen share.
Okay,
Press
can you guys see my screen and hear it?
participants can
Yes.
Zoom
Awesome.
social C colon max I sample dash visuals I.
So I have an AI sample here. It's just literally nothing in it. I can press Control Shift E and see that there's nothing here. It's just a new,
Files
folder. Okay. So
name.
nothing here. And let's say that I want to, I don't know, I want to make something as a sample. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control Shift
Chat input. Type the ask.
I. That is the chat window. Okay. So Control Shift I. Remember, first you have to sign in. You download the extension. So remember the Control Shift X GitHub Copilot. You download both the chat extension and the GitHub Copilot extension. Eventually, they're going to be merged. There's also other extensions. So remember that CSS assistant I mentioned a while back? Did you know that actually uses GitHub Copilot behind the scenes? So there's other extensions that you can download, but for now, we're just going to start off with these, the defaults. I'm not going to make it too complicated for y'all. And I'm going to quickly show you, I'll do a quick recap on how to figure out what extensions you have. So remember, Control Shift X.
Search 7 extensions
Press tab.
toolbar. Clear extension search results button unavailable. Installed section button expanded.
Okay, tab one
Extensions
more.
list. GitHub Copilot 1.301.0. Verified publisher GitHub. Your AI pair programmer. Rated 4.23 out of 5 stars by 947 users. 1 of 2 level 1. GitHub Copilot Chat 0.2.
So I just have GitHub in GitHub Copilot Chat. Okay, and I'll show you how to install other extensions because they have other modes. Because I have got a bunch of different versions of VS Code on this computer. You don't have to worry about that. But I will show you because there's also a way that you can actually speak to GitHub Copilot. So I'll show you guys how to do that.
Mainland.
So Control-Shift-X will get rid of the extensions picker. And then I'm going to do Control-Shift-I again. Yeah, either Control-Shift-I or Control-Alt-I. Those are the both commands you can do to chat. Both of them will work universally. And then I'm going to press Tab.
Toolbar. Chat with extension button.
So this will say you can chat with an extension. So you can chat with an extension that you already have installed. And so that one is available to you. So press Tab again.
Toolbar. Set mode left parent. CTRL plus. Right parent. Menu button collapsed submenu.
Set mode. Now this is really, really important. So this has actually just got a huge overhaul. So I'm going to press enter on this set mode and I'll show you.
Ask checked 1 of 3.
Ask is like where you ask a question, doesn't really do any editing or anything. Okay, so it's like if you're, asking it like a traditional chatbot.
Edit not checked 2 of 3.
Edit is where it's making edits, but it's not actually like, doing terminal commands or any advanced features.
Agent not checked 3 of 3.
Agent, this is where it's kind of a full-fledged thing. It does the ask, right? But then it can also like make changes and run terminal commands and do the full thing. Okay. I typically use agent, so I'm going to select agent by pressing enter.
Toolbar. Set mode left parent. CTRL plus. Right parent. Menu button collapsed submenu.
I'm going to press tab.
Status bar.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute.
Toolbar. Set mode left parent.
I think
Toolbar. Start voice chat button. Toolbar.
Okay.
Set mode.
There we go. So now I have to get out of browse mode. I'm sorry, focus mode. And I just did that, insert space. And then the next thing we have to do is select our model. Now this is really, really important because this is the model that we're going to be using to code. Okay. And you can change this at any time. Oh, I guess the other computer restarted. Okay, so you can change this at any time. So I'll show you how to do
menu
this.
button collapsed submenu. Pick model left parent. CTRL plus alt plus. Right parent.
Pick model.
Menu. Claude 3.5 Sonnet not checked 1 of 5.
So Claude Sonnet. We've had that for a while. That's by Anthropic.
Claude 3.7 Sonnet checked 2 of 5.
This is Claude 3.7 Sonnet. This is their newest model.
GPT-4.1 left parent. Preview right parent not checked 3 of 5.
This GPT 4.1, this actually came out just yesterday.
GPT-4o not checked 4 of 5.
And the GPT 4o that's been out for a year now. Okay, so these are the models that you have available to you. So how do you decide which model to use? Well, you can experiment with them. GPT 4o, it's been around for a while. It's not really the best at coding, so I don't really recommend it. It is the base model, so for now, basically the base model means that it's the model that they like recommend, but honestly, it's not that good, so I don't recommend that for coding. I would either do the GPT 4.1 that came out yesterday, or I would do the Claude 3.5 or 3.7 Sonnet, okay? Because some of the models may have increased demand. So let's say it says rate limited or please try again. You may have to switch to a different model, okay? But for this case, I want to actually use the new model that came out yesterday because it actually works really well. And it is pretty awesome. And by the way, you don't have to pay for the models either. So that's good. With Copilot, you just, if you want to pay, you just pay for the Copilot. You don't have to pay extra for models.
Okay. GPT-4o not checked 4 of 5. GPT-4.1 toolbar set mode.
Press enter. Anybody have any questions about how this is going so far? Does this make sense?
This is Melissa. If you choose one after you're signed in, if you choose a specific model, does it save that selection or do you choose new every time?
So depends. So every time you start a new chat, it will sometimes switch models. But if you also switch different modes, like to ask or edit, then it can sometimes switch. So It just
Okay.
depends. You may want to always check it before you start chatting.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
Awesome. Any
Okay.
other questions? Does it seem to make sense, y'all?
Mhm.
Okay. Laurel, you don't have anything else to add, do you, real quick? I don't think so. Okay. I just want to make sure that, there's nothing you need to add. But silence, I guess, means we're good. Okay. So we've selected our model, we've selected the mode. It's time, we're ready to chat. Okay. So there's two ways to chat, either text or voice. I'm going to show you both of these. So let me press Shift
Toolbar.
Tab
Start
here.
voice chat but chat input.
I'm going to say, what do I want to do? Make make a sample app. I don't know. I'm just messing around.
Blank.
So I said make a sample app. Okay. I don't know what it's going to do, but that's the thing. I'm just messing around. So I'm going to press enter and look at how accessible this is.
Chat request sent. Working.
Chat request sent.
Could you
Working.
specify what kind of sample app you want to create? For example, do you want a web app, a desktop app, a command-line tool, or something else? Also, which programming language or framework would you like to use? Left parent, E.G. Python, JavaScript, React, right parent? Let me know your preferences.
You see how accessible this is?
Mhm.
Right? Now, what do I want to use? I don't know. Let's just say make a simple web page.
Space space.
Make a simple web page.
Web page. Space. Space ES. Chat request sent. Working. Thinking. Working. Progress.
Progress, thinking, working. You see how it's
Progress.
and I
Working.
can press
Less doc type HTML greater less HTML lang equals quote end quote greater less head greater less meta charset equals quote UTF dash 8 quote greater less meta name equals quote viewport quote content equals quote width equals device dash width initial dash scale equals 1.0 quote greater less title greater simple web page less slash title greater less link rel equals quote style sheet quote ref equals quote style dot css quote greater less slash head greater less body greater less h1 greater welcome to my simple web page less slash h1 greater less p greater this is a sample web page created with html and css dot less slash p greater less slash body greater less slash html greater made changes body left brace font dash family
okay. So you realize that all the code is there. Now I don't want to usually have it read out all that like that because that can be annoying. So I'm going to go out of browse focus
Space.
mode. Oops.
Out of
Okay.
clickable index.html.
And
Tool
I'm going
button
to
select tool out
go.
of toolbar collapsible chat list clickable with one item style.css. C colon backs clickable index.8 C colon out of list button view all edits button undo.
You can hit view all edits, which will allow you to view all the edits.
Button undo. Button view all edits. Collapse index.h clickable C colon back style.c out of list clickable toolbar button select tool clickable chat input no next edit field.
And
Out of editor clickable toolbar button start voice.
they
Out
just
of
changed
clickable
this,
menu
which is
button
annoying.
collapsed sub menu.
So let's see,
Clickable
let
remote
me.
button clickable button notifies application toolbar go toolbar suggest title actions active use manage tool extensions action
Okay, there we
search
go.
extent toolbar installed section button
So you can literally. I gotta get out of these extensions.
extensions list clickable with toolbar E.
You can view all the edits, right? Which I have over here. And it's just being NVDA can kind of be slightly interesting sometimes. Or you can just hit keep, okay? Or you can hit undo. So if you're like, I don't like any of these edits, I just want to undo them all, you can do that. And I'm actually going to demonstrate that so you could see what happens, right? That way you're like, I don't know if I like this. So I'm going to go back up to my chat.
Clickable toolbar manage button installed section button expanded.
I do not know why I'm over here. Let me get out of this.
Clickable.
Okay.
Clickable search extensions and marketplace editor add
Get
auto.
out of the extensions. Hold on.
Title
Let me get
actions
out of
tool.
this. Okay. Sorry, it keeps popping up the
Checkbox
extension
not
bar.
checked toggle panel left parent CTRL plus J right parent.
And again, they keep changing this. So like today they have a GitHub Copilot webinar that I'm going to attend because they're adding more features. So
Checkbox check toggle secondary sidebar. Out of toolbar
okay,
clickable. Tab collapsed search left
there we go.
parent.
Okay, so let me go back up to the top.
Clickable search extension main landmark clickable editor multi-line. Out of editor clickable editor as autocomplete multi-line less doc type HTML
There
greater.
we go.
Less HTML lang equals quote end quote greater.
That was very convoluted. Now I'll demonstrate it a couple more times because that was not supposed to happen. But now you can hear all the code that got generated. Okay, so if I press
Less
down
head
arrow
greater.
again,
Less meta charset equals quote UTF-8 quote greater. Less meta name equals quote viewport quote content equals quote width equals device dash width initial dash scale equals 1.0 quote greater.
seems pretty all right to
Less
me.
title greater simple web page less slash title greater. Less link rel equals quote style sheet quote ref equals quote style dot css quote greater. Less slash head greater. Less body greater. Less h1 greater welcome to my simple web page less slash h1 greater. Less p greater this is a sample web page created with HTML and CSS dot less slash p greater. Less slash body greater. Less slash HTML greater. Out of editor clickable. Button. Toolbar keep button. Undo button.
So let's say we didn't like it. All right, I could just press undo and it will literally get rid of everything.
Edits
Watch
undone.
this. See, it'll make a noise. Edits undone. Okay. So, and then I will show you how you can fix it. So let's see. Let me
Clickable
go
chat input. Type chat in.
back to my chat. I'm going to press up arrow and watch what happens.
Make a simple web page with HTML and make a simple web and CSS. S space.
Okay.
Blank.
You see how I can literally press up arrow and I can reveal the previous prompt? And then let's say I could add something to it. I don't know that. Here, let's see. That talked about learning to code.
Chat
Press
request
enter.
sent. Working.
Out of focus mode.
Progress. 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 Working. Progress. Less doc type HTML greater less HTML lang equals quote end quote main landmark clickable index.html editor as autocomplete multi-line less doc type HTML greater.
Here we go. Okay, so now I pressed the Shift E and I went to my editor view. But remember, you have to hit view all edits, otherwise they're collapsed. So remember I said make sure that this talks about learning to code.
Less HTML lang equals quote end quote greater. Less head greater. Less meta charset equals quote UTF-8 quote greater. Less meta name equals quote viewport quote content equals quote width equals device dash width initial dash scale equals 1.0 quote greater. Less title greater learning to code less slash title greater. Less style greater.
Ooh, I don't like this. Do you understand why? Because if you know anything about CSS, some of you guys haven't gotten there yet. CSS should not be in the same document as your HTML. That's not good practice. Okay.
Mhm.
So we don't want that. I mean, you can do it. That's called the header CSS where you have the less style grader in the header. I don't like it. So we're going
Font
to
background dash space. Margin colon 0 semi. Padding display flex that line dash items just of height right ray H1 color colon number 00509 semi. Right ray E left color max text right ray dot tips background colon border box padding margin right ray O left color colon number 0
Just
text dash
quickly reading it
less
real
div less H2 greater tips for beginners colon less slash H2 greater less all greater less Lee greater start with the basics colon HTML CSS and JavaScript dot less slash Lee greater.
I don't like it, so I'm gonna hit
Toolbar
undo.
keep this change undo this change left parent CTRL plus shift plus backspace right parent button. Toolbar keep chat edits in his file button. Undo chat edits in his file button. One change in one file button unavailable. Go to previous chat edit. Go to next chat. Open copilot edits left parent. CTRL chat actions toolbar undo last request button.
So I can undo like the individual changes or the entire request. So I just did that, press B, so you guys could see all the different things that are available. Okay. So I don't like any of this.
Undo
So
last request button.
there we
Clickable
go.
chat input. Chat.
So now we need to say, I'm going to use a voice mode. So I'm going to show you how to use that. So I'm going to press up
Make
arrow.
a simple web page C. Blank.
Control end.
Toolbar. Start voice chat button.
Actually,
Make a simple web page with HTML. Unselect toolbar. Start voice chat. Start install extension dialog. Would you like to install the cancel button? Install extension. Circle index.html -i sample Visual Studio Code pending changes from.
So it's installing the
Start voice chat left parent. CTR chat input. Type to ask. Toolbar. Stop list.
So I want you to make a sample web page that talks about learning to code, and I want HTML and CSS, but I also want to make sure that the CSS is in a separate file so that it uses good coding conventions because I'm going to be sharing this with my students. So I want to make sure that it has good coding conventions and it also ensures that it has comments for educational purposes.
Chat request sent. Working. Chat input. Type the
So that's voice
progress.
mode. Now let's see what it said. Because remember, I stammered over my speech. I actually did that on
Out of
purpose.
button. Disable current file context. Clickable
Let's
chat in
see.
out of but clickable index
That's not
toolbar
gonna-
button at button out of seek out of list button view all button 1 chat list clickable heading level 3 GitHub copilot progress.
And you can do headings.
Clickable
Watch
tailor and
this.
set clickable so I want you to make a sample web page that talks about learning to code and I want HTML and CSS progress. But I also want to make sure that the CSS is in a separate file so that it uses good coding progress conventions because it has good conventions because I'm going to be sharing this with my students. So I want to make sure that it works clickable so I want you to make a sample web page that talks about learning to code but I conventions because it has good coding conventions and also ensures that it has comments for educational purposes. Attached index.html/c:/user/.
Look at that. So I just used my voice, and now it's ready because it made the sound. So I think what I can do here, let's see, let me
Clickable
try.
chat input. Type to ask
Nope.
quest. Make clickable
Shift E.
search extensions and no previous edit field.
Maybe not.
Main
Let me
landmark.
see,
Clickable
where's it
index.ht.
at?
Clickable chat input. No next edit field.
Okay.
Clickable remote button. Click active view switcher. Search extensions. Main landmark. Index.html editor as less body greater. Less doc type HTML. Less head. Less meta charts. Less title. Less dash. Less link rel equals. Less dash link to external CSS file for styling dash greater.
Sorry, I went too fast. Okay, so you see I pressed F6. And that does get you there. There's just a bunch of other things in the way. Okay. So basically, do you see how it has the comments, like I said? Right? This is something I may want to keep.
Less link rel equals quote style sheet quote ref equals quote style dot css quote greater. Less slash head greater. Less body greater. Less dash main heading dash greater. Less h1 greater learning to code. Less slash h1 greater. Less dash introduction paragraph dash greater. Less p greater learning to code is an exciting journey that opens up endless possibilities. Whether you want to build websites. Less dash tips section dash greater. Less div class equals quote tips quote greater.
Do you see how it has all the comments? Right?
Mhm.
And this is kind of something that I'd be happy to share with you guys, right? Because it has comments. I did exactly what it wanted to do, right? So it seems like it could be something I want to
Less
keep.
h2 greater tips for beginners less slash h2 greater.
And I don't really care how it looks because I mean, I'll be able to see it kind of. But then I'm going to show you guys another trick. So we have my CSS extension which works great. But I'm going to also show you another thing too, which is AI based. And then you guys are going to be able to have fun with that also. Okay.
Less
So
all greater.
and this one, the next thing I'll show you is completely free.
Less Lee greater start with the basics HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Less slash Lee greater. Less Lee greater. Have fun and enjoy. Less slash body great. Less slash HTML. Less slash HTML greater.
Okay, so then
Clickable chat input. Type to ask out of a clickable index.h toolbar button add button select tools out of toolbar collapsible view all edits undo button.
guess
Keep
what?
button.
Keep.
Edits kept. Index.html application button done but click chat input. Type to ask.
You see what I did? I kept all my edits. So then I can press Control Shift E.
Files style.css.
And look, I have my
/
styles.
style.css. This file contains styles for the learning to code sample web page.
You see how it has comments, like I said. And I didn't view the edits for style.css because frankly, I didn't know how it would look. I couldn't figure it out. But then I'll show you guys something else. You can be able to iterate on this. So then I'm going to use another tool. I'm going to use this thing called AI Studio.
New tab dash.
So I'm going to go to AI Studio.
AI Studio.
Before I do that, though, does anybody have any questions about what we just did before I actually show you the next thing I'm going to do? Does this make sense?
It does.
Yes.
Awesome.
I'm going to have to play with it a lot.
Oh, I'm sure. And it's ever changing too. Every month they have a new update. Okay. So tomorrow, no, let's see. Tomorrow is what's called VS Code has a release party, which is called they kind of announce new features. They talk about what's been announced. And so that's tomorrow. Microsoft has that. So I'm going to be going to that on YouTube. It's just a live stream. But yeah, that is the release party, which, they'll announce a lot of things. They have those every month or two. And yeah, so tomorrow's going to be a huge one though, because it's the agent mode, official party. So I'm going to go to AI Studio.
A studio
No,
dot
that's
Google
cool,
main
really cool.
landmark. Out
I'm gonna
of
go
edit button
stream real
clickable link
time.
Google AI Studio Home. Clickable. Navigate link stream. Main landmark.
And you can give it a prompt. I'm not going to worry
Out
about
of edit
that.
button share screen. Choose what
Share
to share.
screen?
Window tab control Chrome tab selected. Entire screen tab. Entire screen property page. Entire screen grouping. Entire screen button 1 of 1. A studio.google.com is sharing your screen.
Hello, Gemini. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How can I help?
Okay, so I'm going to be giving you a CSS file and an HTML web page to look at. And I'm going to need you to be
Okay,
a
I understand. I'm ready when you are.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, you cut me off. I'm going to be needing you to critique it and give me feedback to make sure it looks good so that my colleagues can be able to approve it.
I'm ready to give you feedback on the CSS file and HTML web page so your colleagues can approve it. Where can I find these files?
Okay, just a second. I'm going to continue sharing my screen. So I'm going to switch windows and, just give me a couple seconds and I will be able to have you look at it.
Stream bar Google AI Studio
Thanks.
Zoom social dash
So
learn
I
to
will look
code
for the
with.
window you share next. Can you tell me when to expect it?
Hold on. Just give me like 30 seconds.
I will wait 30 seconds.
Stream bar Google screen sharing meet style.css dash I sample dash visual
Okay,
style
I now see the
CSS
different windows on your screen, including the style.css file. Do you want me to take a look at that one?
Hold on. Let me open it in the browser.
index.html not selected 1 of 2.
All right. After you open it in the
Menu.
browser, let me know what you would like me to do.
Open to the sites. Open with 2 of reveal and file. Open with 2 of 3. Reveal and file explore. Open. Select editor. Configure default edit text editor active and configure default edit.
Hold on.
Files explorer 3.
I don't
Main
have live
com. This
server
file
installed,
contains
so
styles for the
hold on a
learning.
second.
Files index.ht.
Got it. Let me know when you're ready.
Menu. Open with 2 of 13. Reveal and file open and reveal and file files explorer 3 view.
I now see a blank screen. Is this where the CSS and HTML will appear?
Nope. Hold on.
Okay.
I know it's like being stupid. Okay. Now I don't have any speech. Hold on. Okay.
Can I?
But yeah, I'm telling you, this will be happy once we actually get it going. Okay. So
Loading NVDA, please wait.
restarting
Style.css dash I sample dash visual studio code row 1 column zoom social dash learn to code zoom. Style.css dash I stream bar Google AI Studio dash Google Chrome screen sharing media control column 2 C colon dash windows dash zoom social dash learn to code with FreeCodeCamp I sample dash file explorer column 2 2 of 6 I sample dash file explorer big index not selected 1 of 2. Selected space. Cut TCTRL copies rename share source delete top of window open with left space 2 of 10 top of Microsoft Edge Google Chrome 1 of 7. Learning to code dash Google Chrome dash table left parent tech list heading level.
okay, Gemini, you can look at it now. Can you see it? Uh-oh. Hold on.
Toolbar.
I think I may have lost
Zoom
connection.
social dash learn to new tab dash
Oh, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that Gemini, but either way, I like it because it will give me feedback and my VS Code will give me feedback.
Style.css dash I sample stream bar Google AI Studio dash Google Chrome row 2 stream bar Google clickable button clickable link Google AI Studio button skip the main content button skip the main content clickable main landmark stream button system instructions button code button play button available news button enter full screen menu button submenus video time scrubber slider grouping audio time scrub button mute menu button sub grouping button play audio time scrubbers button mute show more media controls menu play
I
button
think it lost
mute button
connection.
available enter full screen button show more media unable to play media group mute button show more media unable to mute button show more media control clickable run setting level 2
Gemini, can you hear me?
button menu button available left submenu assets toolbar
It
studio
will
Google
lose
Google AI Studio main
connection.
landmark type submenu multi
No,
out of edit heading button code button system
just like
instruction heading level 1 screen clickable button menu button left sub clickable Google account system instructions button code button top button webcam button share screen button
but
choose window
now
tab
that I
control
have my
entire screen tab
stuff
selected window
ready.
tab entire screen property page a studio.google.com is sharing your screen stream bar Google AI Studio dash Google Chrome row 1 column 2 2 of 8 stream bar Google AI Studio zoom social dash learn to code with FreeCodeCamp I sample dash file explorer column 4 I sample name split index 1 of 2 cut copy CCTR rename share delete top of window open with left space 2 of 10 top of Microsoft Edge 2 of 7 Google Chrome 1 of 7 Microsoft Edge items view list index 1 of 2 learning to code dash personal dash Microsoft Edge learning to code new notifications
Hey Gemini, can you see my screen? Okay. Yeah, this is not working. But it can actually see the screen and like give feedback. And that with my CSS tool, like that's a good way to do, CSS. But this page that I have on my screen is literally generated by AI. And I gave it prompting. I was able to say, hey, I don't like this.
Stream bar Google AI Studio
And
dash Google Chrome column 3 relate. Text stream bar Google AI video settings. Drop down. Learning the code dash person iSample dash file explorer. Stream bar Google AI Studio. Clickable close runs. Output format button. Clickable button. Heading left button available. Menu button of clear the chat style. Edit menu button available. Microphone separator. Button restart stream. Something went wrong. Button restart. Menu button collapse. Sub menu user assets such as images. Video button available. Menu button type some file. Edit button. Share button webcam. Button talk. Button share screen. Windows tab control. Windows tab select. Entire screen tab select. Entire screen property page. Entire screen grouping. Studio.google.com sharing your screen.
hey, Gemini, can you
Stream
hear
bar
me?
Google AI Studio dash desktop content share dash Google. Separator. Button available. Microphone separator. Button restart stream.
Oh, no. Okay.
Learning
It's
the code
like
dash personal
broken.
dash Microsoft.
Okay. But yeah, that was a fail. But again, a lot of people have been using this, folks. So aistudio.google.com, you go to stream real time, then you share your screen, and Gemini can literally see anything on your screen.
That's awesome.
Yes, although a lot of people have figured out how to use it, and so it is in high demand. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that is the basics of GitHub Copilot. Now, there's a couple other buttons that I want to talk about really fast. I'm not going to worry about the CSS at
iSample.
the moment.
Zoom
But I'm going to talk about
style.cs dash iSample dash visual studio
a couple things. So when I go to Copilot, remember Control Shift I or
Chat
Control
input type
Alt
dash
I,
messenger type.
Can you
whatever you want to
can
do.
you turn your speech, slow your speech down again a little bit?
Oh, did it get?
Yeah,
Hold on
it
a
got
minute.
changed
Did it?
back
NVDA menu.
to.
Preferences submenu key. Settings S.
I'm
NVDA
so
settings colon.
sorry.
No,
C2
it's
17.
Keeps
fine.
Drop change.
restarting
Voice colon variant
NVDA.
colon combo break colon 26
I
65.
understand.
43,
Yeah,
42,
that went
44.
There you
down.
go. Thank you.
26.
Okay,
Style.c.
here we go. Sorry about that.
No
I
problem.
didn't realize it would revert. So let's try that again. So what I'm going to do is there's a couple other buttons I want to show you guys in Copilot. So remember where our chat, Control Shift I or Control Alt I. You can do either.
Toolbar. Start voice chat left parent. C.
You get our voice chat. You guys know how to do that. And there's a lot of keyboard shortcuts, but the thing is they change, so I haven't memorized them all.
Mhm.
Because this update just came out, and it was a huge update.
Toolbar. Set mode left parent. CTRL
Set
plus.
mode.
Clickable remote button. Clickable no. Chat in. Clickable disable current. Clickable style.css. Clickable current.
Let's
Toolbar
find it.
button.
Where is
Select
that
tools.
here?
Left pair out of toolbar. Clickable
Ah.
type number to attach context. Chat with extensions. Type slash to use commands. Clickable Copilot is powered by AI, so
Okay.
mistakes are possible.
Here we
Review
go.
output carefully before use.
So that's just a disclaimer. And here we
Clickable
go.
toolbar. Select tools. Left parent.
Select tools. Now you're thinking, what the heck are these, right? Well, let me show you. Press enter
Add
on them.
tools to chat list. Add MCP server. 1 of 2.
Okay. MCP. I'm not going to get into the technical breakdown, but MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. Okay. Now, what this means in non-technical terms is it's a protocol that connects your data to AI. So basically connects your real life data to AI. There's a lot of these out there. I'm not going to show you guys how to connect these MCP servers because it's slightly technical. And it's honestly beyond the scope of this coding demo, but that is something you can do.
Install extension. 2 of 2.
Or you can install extensions that go with GitHub Copilot. So if I press enter,
Search
you'll see what
extensions in
happens.
Marketplace Editor as autocomplete multi-line tag language model tools. 15 extensions found in the Marketplace section.
So language model
Toolbar.
tools.
Clear. Extensions list. GitHub Copilot Chat 0.2. GitHub pull requests 0.108.0. Verified publisher GitHub pull request and issue provider for GitHub. Rated 3.22 out.
So this is for issues.
Console Ninja 1.0.427. Verified publisher Wallaby.js. JavaScript console.log output and runtime errors right next to your code. Rated 3.06.
Okay, so these are some third-party extension tools that integrate with the tools dialog. Okay, so
Data Wrangler 1.20.1. Verified publisher Microsoft. Data viewing, cleaning and preparation for tabular datasets. Rated 4.55 out of 5 stars by 65 users. 4 of 15 level 1. Mark for VS Code 3.2.0. Verified publisher Mark Team. Create slide deck written in Markdown on VS Code. Rated 4.96 out of 5 stars by 28 users. 5 of 15 level 1.
I never even heard of this, but that's interesting. Create slide decks in Markdown. We've talked about that before. Remember, that's like a language in a sense that's like very simple, and you can be able to have, be able to create different like documents and things in it. This is how you create readmes for like GitHub. So we've talked about that a little bit earlier on if you guys were here. I've got a whole bunch of tutorials on Markdown, so I'm not going to get into that heavily right now, or else we'd be here forever. Because, I can talk about a lot of things.
GitPad 0.8.2. Publisher Jonathan Carter. Manage your code snippets and developer notes using GitHub gists and repositories. Rated 4.92 out of 5 stars by 62 users. 6 of 15. Level 1.
So these are some of the tools you can install.
GitHub Copilot for Azure 0.3.220. Verified publisher Microsoft. GitHub Copilot for Azure is the Azure extension. It's designed to help streamline the process of developing for Azure. You can ask it Azure question. Wallaby.js 1. Python environments 0.3.11051010. Verified publisher Microsoft provides a unified Python environment experience. Rated 2.38 out of 5
Ooh,
stars by
that's
8
not
users.
very. I was thinking about doing that one, but I'm not sure if I
DB
will.
Code Database Management 1.11.8. Verified publisher DB Code. Connect to PostgreSQL, MySQL, SQL Server, SQLite, Mongo, Oracle, DuckDB, and other major data.
Okay, so that's for databases.
Code-Mermaid 0.0.3. Verified publisher Microsoft. Exploration into Copilot chat-powered diagram generation. Rated 5.00 out of 5 stars by 4 users. 11 of 15. Level 1.
So if you have to generate diagrams, this would be a good one for you.
Web search for Copilot 0.1.2. Verified publisher Microsoft gives access to search engines from within Copilot. Rated 5.00 out of 5 stars by 1 user. 12 of 15. Level 1.
Now, I'm not exactly sure how this works because apparently you needed a third party, but I will show you guys how to search either way. Okay, so we do not need this extension. I think it's actually going to be deprecated. Okay, so you don't need to worry about this. I'll actually show you how to search the web.
Custo Notebooks 0.5.0. Publisher Don Jayaman. Run Custo queries in notebooks. App Developer Copilot 2.0.2.
Oh.
Publisher Sindhuja Ramraj. App Developer Agent for creating web and mobile apps. Rated 5.00 out of 5 stars by 2 users. 14 of 15. Level 1. DevLinker-MCP host 0.3.7. Publisher Sanjay, a Copilot chat participant that connects your AI assistants with your development environment. 15 of 15. Level 1.
So
Main
those are
map.
all the tools that you can install. You don't need to worry about these. These are third-party things that if you want them, you can have them. But again, we don't know the quality of them, okay? So if there was one that I should say you should install, I would tell you. But I don't think at this point there is. And the thing is, there will be more and more of these every time. So let me show you guys how to search
Chat
the web.
input. Blank.
So say search.
SEAR space TE E space TO space ARE space YOU space HTA space WCAG space OMPLINT. Chat request.
So it says search the web to make this WCAG compliant.
Action required: fetch untrusted web pages. Progress.
So it says fetch untrusted web pages. What
Progress.
that means is it's trying to search the web, but it wants
Out
your
of
approval.
clickable current file. Clickable toolbar button. Select tools. Out of tool button. Continue. Clickable visited link. Manage your trusted domains. To skip this confirmation, you can. List with 3 items. Visited link https://www.smashingmagazine.com/2021/10/complete-guide-accessible bullet. Visited link https://webaim.org/reese bullet. Visited link https://www.w3.org.
That's fine.
Progress.
So it's basically searching 3
Continue.
web
Left parent.
pages.
Fetching.
I can hit continue,
Working.
and
Progress.
that way I know where it's getting the information from. Okay, and this is how you search the web. You just have to prompt
Progress.
it, say search the web.
To
Okay.
make your CSS WCAG compliant, you should ensure the following based on the latest WCAG guidelines: color contrast application. Out of list
Okay,
6,
now to
note
make any
5,
changes.
text spacing: chat actions toolbar, show chat, new chat left parent, CT clickable chat input,
No.
out of editor clickable toolbar button, start voice chat, out of toolbar clickable menu button, collapsed sub menu, set mode left parent, menu, ask not checked 1, edit not checked 2, agent checked 3 of toolbar.
Okay, so it didn't actually make
Out of
changes.
clickable tool
which
button,
is
out of
fine.
tool checkbox not button or button re out of tool list with 6 items.
So I'll show you what it came up with now that I wanted to figure out what it did.
Clickable GitHub Copilot heading level 3.
Okay.
Clickable fetch 3 web pages. Clickable to make your CSS WCAG compliant. You should ensure the following based on the latest WCAG
Okay.
guidelines: list with 6 items. 1. Color contrast: text must have a contrast ratio of at least 4.5:1 against its background left parent. 3:1 large text right parent. For number E6 large text right parent.
Sorry.
For your current colors, check that number 00509E left parent, heading right parent, and number 333 left parent, paragraph right parent, over. Number E6F2FF meet this ratio. You may need to darken the text or lighten the background for better contrast. 2. Font size and resizing: use relative units left parent, like rem or % right parent for font sizes to allow users to resize text up to 200% without loss of content or functionality. 3. Focus indicators: ensure all interactive elements left parent, like style left parent, E4 text 5.
Okay, so that's kind of a, I'm not going to read all this because it's really long. But you see how the search the web is really helpful, and then, like, it could actually make the changes. Okay, so this is helpful if you want to have it search documentation, right? So that's always helpful. Or if you want to have it search a specific web page for different things like that. Okay, so this is actually very, very useful and is a huge game changer so that the AI doesn't hallucinate as much. Okay. And
Mhm,
hallucinating basically means it tries to make up information that's not really true.
mhm.
Okay. Any questions? Comments? Melissa, were you trying to say something or were you just agreeing with me?
I was just agreeing with you.
Okay. So, what do you guys think about this? Do you think this is helpful or is it just a big waste of time?
I think it's helpful. I've never used the AI Studio. I haven't even seen that one before, so that was new to me. And
What about the GitHub Copilot?
I've used it a little, because they showed it in bits,
Yep.
with our
Yep.
BCI stuff. So I've used it some.
But does this help you get a better idea of how it works?
Hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Wonderful.
How about
Look,
those of
I'm
you
one
who
of the
haven't
biggest.
used AI at all? What do you think, seeing what all it can do?
I'm sorry, say it again. My phone decided to talk right when you were talking.
No,
Yeah,
you're good.
well, I'm
I was
sorry.
just
And they tried to
simply,
cut you off, so.
you're fine. Sorry, I was just saying, like, for those who haven't studied or haven't learned AI and coding yet, I was just curious what you thought of
Oh,
seeing this.
okay.
It looks pretty neat. My question is like you were saying, like there's different ways to use it, and then one of them is to like write code for you. How accurate do you think it is for that?
That's a great question, Taylor. I know that for
So
me, I know for me it's worked okay, but I think it probably depends on what you're doing, but you're the expert.
it does. And the general rule of thumb is it can write code for you. But is that code going to be efficient or is it going to be, secure? There's this thing that has been going around. It's called vibe coding. Michael talked about it a little bit. But basically, people just let the AI code for them. They don't even really check it. They don't really learn to code. It's all based on like vibes. And I don't do vibe coding. Okay, I'll set the facts straight. Now, why am I saying that? Because AI code is probably about 80% accurate. It's not going to get you fully there, but at
Mhm.
least it will help you get the grunt work done. And then you can be able to optimize it the way that you want to optimize it. And the thing is, for someone like me, I'm very good at code, but the thing is, like, I know my fundamentals, but I cannot easily like put things together. But I know what I want and I know how to explain it. And so good prompting is helpful, but I can't actually throw the building blocks together just because of how my brain sometimes works. Okay. So it works very well, but again, making sure that you kind of have the QA aspect and be like, okay, is this code good? Does it work well? There's a thing that basically the AI is kind of the junior developer, and then you're just kind of the reviewer of the AI and the manager to make sure it's doing the correct thing. Okay. Especially if you're trying to learn to code, this is actually going to be a very important skill because of what I mentioned earlier, is that when you actually get into the software development field, what's going to eventually happen is coders who know how to use AI are going to be much more valuable than coders who don't know how to use AI because of the efficiency it brings.
Mhm.
Yeah, because ultimately, and I mean, again, just coming from where I come from, like a manufacturing background, um, really the highest paid person in your team should really be your checker, the person who's trying to run it until it breaks, depending on what you're
Yes.
trying to do. And
Yes.
that's where, AI is a wonderful tool, but unless you've got somebody looking at it six ways from six different ways, you're going to run into a problem.
And QA is very important.
Yeah.
Also accessibility, because there are some models that will not make things accessible, right? They'll put heading level 1 or heading level 5 instead of heading level 1, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any, has anybody been doing any research or any reports out there as far as percentages of what AI is creating that is passing through some quality checks?
Hmm. Um, I don't know if there's like standardized research. A lot of these people are trying to actually make software only with AI, right? But that's not the way you need to do it. AI needs to be a companion, not the
Right.
whole, like the doer.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not really standardized research per se at this point. That probably will change, but it's honestly so rapidly developing, it's kind of crazy.
Okay, so essentially there's no they're really, aside from the standard practices that have always been there, nobody's really running a, pushing this against this to look to see, yes, it passes, or a go, no go.
There's like quality checks, but there's not like really standard like research paper saying like, yeah, AI produces inaccessible stuff or
Okay.
AI, yeah. They don't really at this point. Accessibility is really not considered as much because remember the other thing too, the accuracy of the AI depends on the training data. So I bet like Anthropic's, Claude models, for example, has a lot of inaccessible code. But from my understanding, the OpenAI model that just came out yesterday, every time I made stuff, it's seeming like it's been very accessible.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, but that you always have to check it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why learning the fundamentals is important because
It is. You
when
have
you
to know the
when you're
fundamentals.
reading your code, like when you were reading when you were sharing your screen earlier and you were showing us the code, I was like, wow, I actually understand what this is saying.
Uh huh.
The headers and the styles. And then when you said, no, 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 that's not right, I could see what you meant, where the style sheet was in the wrong, you know, syntactically in the wrong place. And it was like, wait. And if you know that, then you can say to your AI choice, Copilot, GitHub, hey, I'm using a screen reader and you need to describe how to do this and where this needs to be in a specific way if you don't know exactly syntactically where it needs to be.
Right.
And that may not even be a word, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Makes sense. Any other questions? What do you guys think about this?
I think it's cool. I need to go play with the new model, the 4.1.
Yes, it's only available on GitHub Copilot. It's not available
Yeah.
on the chatgpt.com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's mainly for coders. That's why they made it.
So, um, yeah, I guess I do have a question. So, can you use the new one for free? Because I have a paid chat GPT thing, not the Copilot yet.
You can use that one for free, yes.
Okay.
GitHub Copilot.
Okay.
And they also have a 30-day trial as well. So if you keep using it and you're like, man, I want to, let's say that somebody gives you a gift card for your birthday. I don't know, I'm just making up crap. And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, I want to buy this. There is a 30-day trial and there's also a free plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I knew it was free, but I thought maybe some of the more advanced
No, this is
features, like,
actually this model specifically free
okay,
because it's OpenAI and Microsoft partners with OpenAI for
gotcha.
now.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
You have to try it though.
I will.
Any other questions? I'm going to stop sharing my screen and we can do a
Select
quick
all
help
CT.
session. I'm not
Zoom
sure. Let me
social
see how
dash
much
learn.
time we have left.
New tab iSample dash file screen sharing seek.
Oops, hold on.
iSample dash screen sharing video.
Okay. So let me see what time we have left. Okay. So we have a little bit left. About 20 minutes or so. A little bit over 20 minutes. Oops.
This has been super awesome, and man, I just gotta say, like, I'm really excited about how far AI has come and where we might be going with it. Because if you think about it, like, even a year and a half ago, like, none of us, well, I don't know about none of us, I guess I shouldn't say none, but very few of us were using AI to do much, you know? Like, comparatively to how it is now, you know? And I think it's really cool just seeing what all we can do with AI today as opposed to a year or even a year and a half ago, and seeing where that might evolve in a year or two, especially as far as coding and creating things. It's really cool.
So, Laurel, I was thinking you're talking about doing little coding in other languages, and uh, I was thinking maybe I would try with Hebrew since
Oh
I'm
yeah?
proficient in Hebrew.
Hey, I love
So,
Hebrew. I wanted to take it at the university in Oklahoma because I went to Hillel every Friday night.
mhm,
Um, but I was already doing Russian and had done Arabic, and my hands were too full to take on Hebrew. I'd have
mhm.
had to help prepare my own textbooks. But oh my gosh, I want to learn. So yeah.
Thought we'd try a little sample and maybe make a little file for you guys to share with the group.
Yeah, try it out. So I asked GPT in essence just for a basic overview of
Hmm.
what languages it could work with. Evidently, so this is just the overview, okay? And I asked Grok and Gemini and Copilot the same thing.
Hmm.
Apparently, the if you're speaking to it, you can speak it in a lot of languages. Evidently, the voices that speak back to you are best in English, and for
Right.
non English or similar or like non Germanic languages
Hmm.
or non Latin languages, the results may vary. Apparently, supposedly, it gives better results in text based conversation, but
Right.
the
Okay.
AIs vary in what they support. So if you're going to do it in Hebrew, you might want to try like ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, and Copilot, and
Hmm.
like query it. Like if I were you, like this is what I plan on doing in Finnish and Russian. Okay, I'm
Hmm.
gonna query it all four of those things with the exact same wording, the exact same question. Okay, so that I can get like a literal side by side comparison, and
Hmm.
then see how the conversation evolves. But that way, like I've got a good solid framework for how it's gonna go. Anyway, try it. I really want to know. I want to know what it does.
So I was thinking, and this may not work, and Taylor, you might know better, but if I did it on the Macs, I already have the Hebrew voice as part of
Yeah,
my voice rotor
yeah,
choices, then it wouldn't matter about using the voice because I could just read the
yeah. You could
text
read
and
the
it would
text
go,
response.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Well, like I said, I'm not. This is not an area I'm very
No,
good
it's
at.
gonna. I'll tell you straight up. So you're right. Like if you're reading a text response, whatever screen reader voice you have to support that language will work. It's gonna
Yes.
be more about does the GPT or does the Copilot or Gemini or Grok understand that
Hmm.
language enough to respond to you, and how
Hmm.
mixed will the target language and English be? So in
Yeah.
Hebrew, you might get a different result than somebody will in Spanish or in
Right.
even Hindi or in Finnish or whatever. But like this is why I'm really curious to have different people from different backgrounds or with different levels of language proficiency and a wide variety test it, because most likely from my own experience, not in coding but in working with multilingual stuff in AI, most likely you're going to get one or two tools that far outshine the others in Hebrew, and somebody who speaks a different language, like say Finnish or Spanish, or Hindi is going to get a different result than you are, because the models will have been trained to different levels on different languages, right?
Right.
So it'll be really interesting for me to see what you're going to get in Hebrew as compared to what I might get in Russian or Finnish, as compared to what someone else in our community might get in Spanish or in Hindi, or in Bulgarian or Romanian or Estonian or any of the other languages we have represented in our community. It's going to be really interesting because your result's going to be unique. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah.
But if you
So,
do it, okay, if you do it text-based, and I'm saying this for anybody listening, if you do it text-based, or if you try to have a live voice conversation, please document whatever your result is, for better or for worse, and
yeah.
we can actually make a post about it on my Laura Wheeler Foundation Facebook page, or document it on Taylor's YouTube or something, because it would be a super interesting talking point. If you're willing, it would be an interesting conversation point for the blind community. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
It'd be super cool.
So what is the grog? I haven't heard of that.
So
Did I
okay,
miss
so Grog,
something?
no, you're fine. So I mentioned Grog. It's Elon Musk's AI, and I get that he's a very controversial figure, but
Oh, I don't
hear me
care.
out. Hear me out. Grog is accessible in the iPhone app. So if there's a separate iPhone app that's not part of X,
Mm-hmm.
and I use it in my main 4 because the Grok app, Grock, it is accessible. And so, to be fair, like, I'm trying to be very apolitical, right? We all have our own politics and what we think of Elon Musk. But if we're talking about accessible AI tools and which ones work with really well with a screen reader and are accessible and are usable, I'm just throwing it in there so that everybody knows what the choices are. And I personally find that for certain uses, Grog is very good on the iPhone app. Maybe not as good as Gemini Copilot or ChatGPT in some ways, and maybe better in others, depending on what you're doing. But I include it in the big 4 simply because it is accessible, it is free, and it's out there. Like I said, I'm not telling anyone which tools to use or not use or comment. I'm not here to comment on Elon Musk specifically. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
just including it in the list of what's available because it is accessible and it is a choice that people do have if they want to use it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe you mentioned it the 1 week when I was absent because I don't
No, you're
remember
good.
going before.
You're totally good. Like I said, my mentioning it has nothing to do with politics. I know that it can get really political because everybody immediately thinks, oh, Elon Musk, and they have an opinion, good or bad. But I throw it out there just because I want people to know that it's a choice
Yeah.
and that it's accessible. Whereas there may be other AIs out there that are not quite as accessible, but this one is if you use the iPhone app. So
Mm-hmm.
we focus on Copilot here, and we
Yeah.
focus on Chat GPT, and maybe Gemini is a third choice. But I like to make sure that we at least mention the ones. And if you guys know of other AIs that are equally accessible that people at least could have a choice to play with, feel free to mention them. But I feel like it's worth at least making sure people know about what choices exist, what are out
Mm-hmm.
there.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Taylor, if you have any?
I agree.
I'm all about full disclosure, and I give you the information. You make up your mind however you want to. If you don't want to use a certain tool because you don't like people that are associated with that tool, or you might not agree with a company's political views, fine. If you do happen to agree and that encourages you, fine. Whatever it might be, I'm just want to make sure people have the basic information and can decide whatever they want to decide based on that.
That's fine.
Yeah. And I personally, there are certain AIs for certain use cases that I like more than others. What I would say is I would encourage everyone to at least, download the Grok app on your iPhone, download the GitHub Copilot on your devices and make sure that's set up. Download ChatGPT, download Google Gemini, and play with them for yourself, all four, and make your own decision up about what suits you best and what works for you best, because we're all going to have different things that we end up liking or being comfortable with, whether it be coding or whether it be in different use cases, even just personal, whether it's creative writing, whether it's web browsing, I don't know, whatever your, different reasons, right? We're all going to find different ways that we're comfortable with AI for different things, and it's going to be really subjective based on the person. So I would, if I were you guys, I would play with all four, and then you're free to decide what do you like best and why. There's
Yeah.
not a right or wrong answer.
Right.
So,
Well, and even at that, I'm pretty sure depending on what you're doing, each tool, depending on what you're doing with it, probably has, we should probably all be making lists on things where, yeah, that worked great. And next
Mhm.
time I see this situation, I'm not even going to mess with the other things because it's not that
right.
great.
Yeah.
Although honestly, the
That's
way they
exactly
keep
it.
on changing it,
Right.
That's
Right.
that's literally exactly my point. Like,
Mhm.
so there are certain ones that have strengths that others don't have. And
yeah.
I'm not even just talking about coding anymore. I'm talking about like in every area, right?
Mhm.
And all of these AI tools will update differently and at different times, right? So I feel like the best, if I were to suggest a best practice, and Taylor, you can feel free to chime your thoughts in too, but if I were to suggest, and Jackie and Melissa and everybody else too, if I were to suggest a best practice, apolitically, just a standard best practice, I would say be familiar with all of them, at least so that you know how to use them and you know what they're good at and what they're not good at. And when one comes out with a major update, go back to it, play with it, and just see how that update impacts your ability to use it for your needs.
Oh
That's
yeah, I have to. I mean, because I deal with AI every day. That's what I have to do.
yeah,
Mhm.
but
But yeah,
Jackie's
everybody should do
exactly
it.
right. Like, each of them is going to be like produce different results, right? Like, I could have one query to all four of the AI tools and get different varying results depending on what that query is. And even like if I'm doing creative writing and I just want it to write out a scene for me, like if I'm writing a story and I just want to play, right? Because, like, we all need an outlet, and sometimes if I need to take a break from work or from what I'm doing and just let my brain relax, their personalities, I mean, AIs do have personalities and writing tones and how they
Mhm.
explain things, they'll be different, right? And so, anyway, what you're saying is exactly it. Like, play with them all because they're all good at some things and bad at some, and they all have different styles of responding and different ways of interacting with user feedback. And if you're at least familiar with all of them, then that empowers you to work with what you're comfortable with, and whenever they do have a major update, you'll be able to test it and figure out, well, what do I think of that?
Mhm.
So I'm going to be really curious to see which ones work with Hebrew, for sure.
I'm curious too on that one.
But yeah, I mean, Jackie, to your point, you're exactly right. So that's what I'm saying is, guys, like, here are the ones I would consider the big four. Taylor, am I forgetting any off that list? Are there five? Are there any more besides that I'm not? Besides ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, and Grok that I'm not including?
Claude.
Claude. Oh yeah, Claude. Sorry. I knew I was going to forget something. Claude. If you don't know, I've used Claude before. If you don't know Claude, you should also get familiar with that one. So there's five. Would you say there's five, Taylor? Or,
Yes, I'm trying to think of any more. I mean, there's five
well,
really
there's a
big
lot
ones.
more, but if you were to like say, there's a whole lot more, but if you were to say, hey, these are the list, I would say everyone should at least try out. Would you say it's
Yes.
those five? Chat in no
Yes.
particular order: Chat GPT, Google Gemini, Copilot, Claude, and Grok.
Yes.
I would say everyone should play with those because they all have paid plans, but they're all free to play with.
Mhm.
Oh
What
yeah.
So play with them.
What are your guys' opinion on Perplexity?
Perplexity is really good. Perplexity actually combines all the models together. It's more of a search engine though, but it's not really a like you can use it to code, but it's more of a search engine.
Gotcha.
I've not played with it very much. I should. What are you guys' thoughts, or what are your other questions about um, AI and coding or anything AI? Taylor
Well,
is the AI
this
guru.
is not an AI question, but more going back to free code camp
Sure.
type
We can
things.
take those too.
Yeah, we can take in free code camp questions. I mean, that is how this entire Learn to Code Tuesday, every Tuesday got started. We got 15 minutes and it's question and answer time, so go for it.
Just go. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I started on some of the legacy languages, and then I switched over to going,
Full
trying to
stack.
get the full stack certification.
Uh-huh.
And here's kind of where I'm a little bit stuck. I was happily chugging along in JavaScript, trying to figure out JavaScript. Um, I actually think I like the legacy better because it
Interesting.
compartmentalizes it a lot better, and I'm better off thinking about one concept by itself at a time. But I really want that full stack certification. If I took the time to get through a lot of the legacy things, um, how hard is it for me to would it be for me to go back in and fill in the holes with full stack?
I mean, it wouldn't be hard. I mean, the thing is that I guess it's interesting. In my opinion, actually, the full stack, compartmentalizes more because you're able to do a concept. I mean, they have different categories, but you're at least able to do different concepts, and they have the videos and the review. You can do the legacy and then, go back and fill it in. That wouldn't be hard, but just depending on what you want to do. Because there's things that will not be covered in the legacy that will be covered in full stack once they actually develop that portion.
Right, because I'm kind of, I mean, again, I made it through the HTML in the legacy. And so when I went into full stack, I'm like, okay, I'm on basic and I'm just on the first one, the builder a travel agency page. And I'm like it's already kind of throwing me a little bit, like the whole how to get things to work together. Like I've been stuck on what does it keep on t spitting back at me? How to combine my anchor elements with the figures. And it should also contain an image. And I just keep on going around and around with this again. It seems like every time I fix something, it's telling me something else is wrong with it. And I'm like, oh, I'm a little bit annoyed with it because I think I got past that in Legacy.
And that wasn't actually there. Like it was different. I don't know. Like you can do all the legacy, and then if you want it to come back, it all depending on what you want to do. But
Okay.
just know that some of the stuff will not be in legacy eventually, and that may be going away eventually.
Okay.
We don't know when. Like I'm not. I don't. I
No,
don't
no, I
talk to
understand
code.
that. But the lectures are really interesting.
Good.
I've not played with the full stack thing yet, just because I haven't had the time. But apparently it's awesome.
It is.
How is everyone else doing in their learning to code journey? Hopefully it's going pretty well.
Um, yeah, I haven't switched over yet, but I remember you mentioning it last week. But uh, so I'm on the CSS part, but I mean, I'm fine. It's just I haven't switched over, but I want to because I want to watch the videos and
Oh
but I
yeah.
haven't gotten there yet. So I'm like you, didn't have time to switch it and kind of, but I do
Well,
want to do
the
that.
last couple of weeks I have been crazy busy, so I just haven't had time to switch it over yet, but that's awesome that
It
you're
has
in.
been pretty.
Sorry, go
So
ahead.
I said it has been very busy for everybody. I get it.
Hmm.
I think it'll calm down soon now, hopefully, but that's awesome that you're working in CSS. I don't know about you, but I thought it was really fun to learn when I got to learn like how to make things different colors
Hmm.
with CSS values and coding.
Yeah.
You know? Like, because
Yeah.
I'm so used to like sighted people just like using something with a mouse or drag and drop or changing something with a color palette or whatever. And it was so cool for me
Hmm.
when I learned how I could code that by
Hmm.
typing, you
Yeah.
know?
Yes. I
Like,
agree.
I got to admit, like, there's something really cathartic to me and fun that makes me grin about learning the visual part and how to make something visually look super cool with words
Me
or with
too.
typing, you know?
Yeah. Same here.
Because I feel like as somebody who's never been able to like look at a color palette and drag and drop and working with that, I've always like felt like sighted people could maybe color things or design things in a colorful way that maybe I couldn't immediately. And I know that it's still not the same as like using Canva and making stuff and doing whatever, but I don't
Hmm.
know. I just found something satisfying about learning how to code and make things different colors and shapes and
Hmm.
textiles, and that was fun. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Yeah. And then when you get somebody to look at it and or look at things that you've done outside of Free Code Camp, like with some of the bit stuff and other stuff that I've experimented with. And they're like, oh, that looks really good together. You're like, wow, cool.
I know, it's so gratifying. It's so satisfying, isn't it? It's like you
Hmm.
show a sighted person and they look and they're like, wow, that looks really cool. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I made something visually cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that, y'all.
I I just find it satisfying and I agree with you. It's fun.
Hmm.
It's like solving a puzzle.
Exactly.
It really is. And what's fun too is like, okay, I love this is where I use AI just for grins because I can. I will literally tell AI about a certain design I have in mind of just anything, like a color combination I enjoy, or if I really wanted to make a screen that had these colors on it in these places or whatever. And I'll say like I really love navy blue and this shade of gold and blah 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 and these shades of gray and or I'll say like I want this jewel toned purple and this jewel toned green and purplish blue. Like I'll give it really specific shades, right? And I'll
Hmm.
say I want to have fun. Show me all the hex values and the coding for how I would make that happen. Even if I never do, I think it's fun to see the puzzle pieces and like, or I might type in a random hex value or,
Hmm.
whatever and just say, tell me what shade of color this is, describe it vividly.
Hmm.
Like just for fun,
Yeah. Yeah. Especially colors because and the visual part because it intrigues me, as somebody who's never seen anything. It's like, I want to get this picture in my mind of,
Yeah,
and something that a sighted person would say, oh my gosh, you did that? Wow, that's cool. How
exactly.
did
And
you do
like,
that?
I used to see color and I don't anymore, but I can still imagine it all, right? And it's fun for me, like what you're saying too. Like I can't see it anymore, and it's fun to be able to imagine and stuff. And I don't know, like sometimes because I don't. Okay, I've never known what colors of text go with certain backgrounds other than general, right? Like
Hmm.
general speaking, like what overall broad color, like yellow and black go. You know what I mean? Certain shades of blue and yellow go, like whatever. But I love assigning, like saying to GPT or to Claude or to Copilot or any of these, Grok even, man, what if I had blah 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 color text or blah 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 color background like cyan or some wild color, right? I'll name a wild color and shade. I'll say like deep magenta or bright cyan or whatever. And or sunflower yellow or I don't know, carrot orange. Like I'll name some ridiculous color. And I'll say name me all of the colors that would go with it. And it's just I don't know, it's just kind of fun to play with.
It is.
So
I agree.
and then I've also found that it's interesting and fun to get AI to describe the different. Have you guys ever wondered, like, sighted people have hundreds of fonts that they can choose from, literally.
Yeah.
And I have always wondered, like, what made the different fonts look individual, right? Like, whether it's Arial versus Times New Roman, or whether it's Georgian versus whatever, like Sanskrit font, or whether it's, I don't know, name something. There's literally hundreds, if not thousands. And I have used GPT to say, hey, describe me what this font looks like in comparison to this other font, or describe the unique characteristics that make this font unique and what it is, and describe how I would make this this font in CSS, or what fonts communicate these emotions or these vibes or whatever. And GPTs and AI tools are very good at that too. What do you think, Taylor?
I agree. Hold on a minute.
You're good. So, if you guys want to play with AI, you can get AI to do that also for you.
Yeah,
Oh,
I hadn't
muted,
thought about
sorry.
the fonts, but yeah, that's a
I didn't either.
good idea. I've done the colors, but not the fonts. I need to try that for sure.
Yeah, or like if you want to evoke a certain font or mood, like if you're working with CSS, if you're coding,
Yeah.
or like just in general, right? Like if you just generally want to know, you could say like, hey, I want to describe a mood and vibe that I want to evoke that's also easy to read, but I want to describe it. If I do that, will you suggest me fonts I can use? And then it'll say, yes, go ahead. Because I always prompt it first to get it set right before I then feed it what I really want. And then I'll say, I want to evoke this mood. Here are my color scheme. Here's what I want to evoke. What fonts would you suggest and why? Describe them and provide me the blah, 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 CSS or HTML, whatever values you want, HTML, anything you want, right? And then it can generate it for you. And then I feel even more empowered because I'm like, hoo-hoo, fun.
Yeah. Yes. Lots of fun.
So, just some more ideas,
Yeah.
for people to play with. Yeah. Does anyone else have any thoughts or questions or anything like that? I know it's right up on noon, so before we close out, if anyone has anything else.
I have no chat messages, so that's that.
All right, guys. Well, hearing none, since it's literally going to be noon in less than a minute, I hope everyone enjoyed today. If you are listening to this on YouTube later and not live, comment and let us know what you thought or what questions you may have, because we can answer them and will answer them.
Yep.
In our next Learn to Code. And go subscribe to Taylor's YouTube channel, or find the Laurel Wheeler Foundation on Facebook, Instagram, or X, or YouTube, and connect with us. And again, my name is Laurel. Last name is Wheeler. I know a lot of people struggle with my name sometimes. So reach out to us and come join us next Tuesday at 10 o'clock Central, and every Tuesday for more Learn to Code.
Sounds good. I'm headed out.